Okay, this is ITS128, and today is the last day of class. And so I'm going to again review the final assignment. And this, after today, you should be well on your way, and you should be able to do it pretty easily. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, and let me put this down there, and let me get rid of that. And so I'm going to start with my Dropbox. I'm going to start with my assignment 10. Somebody asked me if I could start with this assignment 10. I just have one assignment 10, right? Oh, what's this one? November 7th, November 13th. Well, let me try November 7th. So I'm going to put this on the desktop. And let me unzip this. And let me open it up. And let's see what we got here. Okay, sign in. All right, let me start this up. I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, we've got load file. I guess we can select a file here. Let me go down and see what we got. Let's do this one. And we got some names there. We can Arthur Anderson. All right, and we can save it out. And when we go back and look at it again, let's look at it. This one was just updated today at 3:31, which is right now. And when we look at it, it looks like this. There's a new name. All right, so let's pull up the other assignments. Let me close this, and let me just remind us of assignment 11, which was to make it a two-dimensional array. And do this capitalization thing. Oh, and inserting stuff in alphabetical order. Okay, so that's basically assignment 11. And then the final assignment is you need to, restructure your code into some nice appropriate classes. And at the end here, I'd like you to make two classes, one that interfaces to the text file and the other one that interfaces to a .csv file, and everything else is the same, and you're able just to switch from one to the other by changing the name of the class that you're using, and that's all. And the methods and everything are the same. Okay, so So let me start with this assignment, and let's open up the code here. View code. And so we've got the array here, and it's a singly dimensioned array. And here we have where we add somebody to the array, and it's the singly dimensioned array. And for this, first checks to see if there's a duplicate, and if not, if there's not a this checks to see if there's a duplicate, and if there's not, it just inserts it in, and that's it. We've got an exit, which asks you if you want to save the file because it's changed. We've got the form load, which just simply sets the name of the file. We've got this load array thing, which reads the text file. And we've got unfriending, so we can delete somebody out of the array. And here's where we load the file. Where do we? Where is it? Is this used anywhere? Load array. I guess load array. I don't see load array being used anywhere, because I see it being used. Just load array. Okay, load array. All right. All right. So let's see. There's not much here, but let's just start right off by creating a new class that handles the array and the reading and writing from the array. And so this form here just manages the interface. So I'm going to start by creating a new class, new add class, and I guess I can name it storage.cs. And now I'm going to make this, okay, so I'm going to make this a static class. And the difference between a static class and a regular old class is that with the static class, you don't have to declare an object that's of the type class and then refer to the methods and so on by the name of the object. Okay, you just refer to everything by the name of the class. It's kind of like all the built-in classes, like string. You just say string dot something, and string is a class. But if you want to, or string dot compare. You have this class called string, and you have this method called compare, and you didn't have to create an instance of string. You just were able to use it. That's because it's a static class. We're going to have a single array in this application. We aren't going to have more than one. We aren't going to have a bunch of arrays that are all the same type. We're only going to have one. So we can just define this as a static class. So it'll be a public static class called storage. And let's go ahead and declare our array. Now first of all, we'll do the constant size, the size thing. So it's an integer, and let's call it max friends. And let's set that just equal to 100. That's a fine number. And then we have our array, and it's going to be private. And static classes are there's only one copy in memory, and the copy is there at it's created there at compile time. And so actually all of the fields and so on inside the class have to be static also. They aren't allocated at runtime. They're allocated at compile time. As static is compile time, and so all of the fields have to also be static. So static string. So this is going to be our string array, and I'm going to make it a two-dimensional array like we wanted for assignment 11. And I guess I can call it array friends. And it'll be a new string, and the size is going to be max friends, and it'll be a two-dimensional array. I mean, it'll have two columns basically. It's a two-dimensional array, but it has two columns. Two-dimensional means it's got two indexes, and then okay, so and then we still have to keep track of this first free index. So private static first free index, and that starts out equaling 0. And oh, it's got to be an integer. Sorry, int. Okay, and we need to be able to access this first free index from the outside, because we want to know how many elements there are in the array, and that's what this tells us. So that'll be a public static int, and I'm going to call it array size instead of first free index. Array size makes more sense to call it. And this is a property, so I don't need to put parentheses. And so there'll be a get return first free index. And I can't remember if I need set. I'm going to put it in there because I think in this version of my code I used the set for something where I actually set it. And so set means you're going to set first free index equal to the value that comes in. Okay, so this is my property, the property of this class called storage, and the property's name is array size, and you're able to get at it, and you're able to store into it. Okay, let's make a method for adding somebody, for adding a friend. So that'll be a public static Boolean, because I'm going to return whether or not I was successful. Add friend, and I'm just going to keep using a single strings, first name and last name concatenated together. So it comes in new name, and let's see. So first thing we have to do is we're going to split that name into first name and last name. So let's create a little array here for that. Names equals new name split. And I don't need to put a parameter because I'm just going to split by a space. And let me split this out here. String first name is equal to names 0. It's the first element. And string last name would be equal to the second element. And let's do that capitalizing the first letter of the first letter of each name. So I'm going to set first name equal to, and you take the first character. You're using the character class, static class. It's a method called toUpper, and that's just a single letter that we want to upperize. It's the first name, the 0th character, the first character of first name, and plus first name dot substring 1. Okay, now what does this do? This takes, okay, this is the first character of first name. You can take any string. This is string, and you can address each character by its index. So this. And this is something that C# lets you do. This I don't know this in any other language, but so this is a string variable, and you can actually refer to each character one at a time by its index. So this here is a character. It's not a string type. It's a character type, and it is the first character of first name. The 0 means because you start counting at 0. Okay, so and this is a method that operates on characters. You know, character is just a single character, and it's a character method. And this takes whatever is in here, whatever character is in there, and changes it to uppercase. Okay, so this here is the first letter of the first name, uppercase, and then this takes first name, it's the original first name, it's this first name. And what this does is substring, and what this is this means start at the first character. Substring 0, that's the whole thing. And if you go substring 1, that means start at the first character and give me the rest of it. Substring 2 would be start at this. Well, this is start at the first character. This is start at the second character. And give me all the rest of it. So if you're talking about Charlie, this is going to be the C capital, and then this is starting from the second character, which is H-A-R-L-I-E. So this is H-A-R-L-I-E, and this doesn't do anything. Actually, don't we want to lowercase this to lower? Okay, that makes all the rest of them lowercase. All right, so that's for first name. And for last name, it's just last name. All right, okay, so that does the capitalization, and then now let's see, we're adding a name. So first of all, we want to see if there's a duplicate. So I'm going to start, and you can start from the top and go down the list, or you can start from the bottom of the list and go up the list. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go up, start at the bottom and go up the list, because when I insert it, I'm going to start at the bottom and go up the list. So I'm just to keep it consistent for no reason. Okay, but I'm going to start by declaring an index. An integer index, which is going to start by equaling first free index. And then I'm going to have a Boolean variable that keeps track of whether or not I have a duplicate or not. And I'm going to set that equal to false to start out with. And then while index is less than, is greater than 0, while index is greater than 0 and duplicate is equal to false, while that's true, then compare them. Compare this first and last name with the first and last name of the array, of the array element that this is the index of. And so if, and I'm going to use the string compare method, compare, and I'm going to last name with array friends, index -1. I'm comparing it with the position above it, above what I'm pointing to. Remember, I start by pointing at first free index, and that doesn't point to anything. The one at the very bottom is the one just above it, which is, you know, index -1, comma 1. That's the last name, and so it's comparing those two. And I'm doing case insensitive, so I do true, which means true, yes, ignore the case. I'm checking to see if that comparison is equal to 0. If it's equal to 0, then they're equal. Now I have to compare both first name and last name, so the first name's got to be equal also. And so it's just this dealing with the first name. So I'm just going to copy, paste, and make this first name first name 0. So while the last names are equal and the first names are equal, if that's true, then set duplicate equal to true, and then decrement the index. Okay, so this is going to loop each time. It's and it's gonna go from the top all the way down to the bottom, and it's going to see if it finds if the name's already in there. And if the name is already in there, it's going to set duplicate equal to true. Okay, so when this is done, we can check to see if duplicate is equal to true. If duplicate equals, actually if it's false, because if it's false, then we want to insert it. So if it's false, then we want to insert it. And so we're going to have the same kind of loop here, where we start with index equaling first free index. So I'm just going to copy this because I'm going to reuse this code. Index starts with first free index, and I'm going to have a let's see, index. All right, so I am just right. Okay. This string comparison business here. Let's see, this is kind of complicated. Okay, first of all, okay, so while index is greater than 0, and I'm going to do and this something, and what this is going to be is either the last names, while the last names are the last names are not equal. No, I'm inserting them up, and so while the last name of the array while the last name is less than the array, so while it's less than 0, while see if the last name is less than 0, or let me copy this all out. Okay, so while either the last name is less than the first name, or the last name is equal to the first name, and the first name is less than the last name. I know this is getting confusing for you, but let's see, or the last name is equal to the first name, And the first name is less than the, okay, well, that's true. Then you want to shift. Then you want to shift. So you don't do this. You set array friends index comma 0 is equal to array friends index -1 comma 0. So you're shifting the name up, and you do the same thing for 1. Okay, that shifts the name up, and so you keep on looping until index is not until the name you're trying to insert is greater than the one above it, and if it's greater than the one above it, then you want to insert it right there. So so here's where you insert it: array friends index 0 equals first name, and array friends index 1 is equal to the last name. All right, and and then you got to decrement first free index. No, you got to increment it because there's one more element in the array now. First free index +1. Okay, so that's what happens if the duplicate is false and you're able to insert it in. So if that's the case, then return true. Otherwise, you want to return false because because there was a duplicate. And this is, I don't need to declare this twice, and I don't need this. Okay, so that takes care of adding a friend. Let's, while we're doing this, let's add delete a friend. So delete a friend is very similar to this. Let me copy this. Let me copy this. Copy, paste, and I'm going to call this delete friend. And so first we want to find, so we want to find a duplicate, we want to find the name, so I'm going to change this to found. Found is false, and while found is false, we go and look for the next one, and if otherwise found is true, but we don't want to decrement the index every time, because if we find it, we want to not decrement the index. Else, put this in here. Why? Does this have too many? Something's funny. If left, left, right, left. Should this not be there? Oh. Okay. Okay. So if we find it, then we want to delete what is at, if found equals true, then we want to set, let's see, we want to decrement first free index because it's gonna be one less, and we're gonna shift up. We're gonna shift everything up. While index is less than first free index, we're going to shift up. This goes +1. And this is going to be plus. And then this is going to be blanking out at the very top. And we don't need this because we've already done it. Okay, so what this does is we're deleting this name, splits it up. It doesn't, I guess we don't need to lowercase it or fix that. And then we start at the top, and we loop until we find it. And if we find it, if this is equal to, let's see, is that right? For deleting a friend, index, I guess I don't need to. I don't need to do this. So this tests to see if the first name, if the names are equal. If this ends up being true, then the names are equal. That means the last names are equal to each other and the first names are equal to each other. And then it says found it true. Otherwise, it decrements it again, and it goes all the way down to 0. And so if we find it, then we want to overwrite it. We want to overwrite it with all the ones underneath it. So this is the one, when this first comes in, this is the one that we want to overwrite. And this overwrites it with the one below it. And then we go to the next one, and we keep on bubbling up the names until we get to the very top, until it's equal to the last one. And at that point, we zero it out. We blank it out, and then that's done. Okay, that takes care of delete friend. And let's add another method for returning the list of friends, and this can be used to populate the list box. Okay, so I'm going to create another method here called it's going to be a public static. It's going to return a string array of all the names. So it'll return the string array, and then you'll take that string array and you'll use that to populate the list box. So it's going to be strings, going to return a string array, and let's call it get friends. It's a method. And so I'm going to first create a list of names, and then I'm going to return that list of names. So let's create this array. I'm going to call it list of names, and that's going to equal a new string, and the maximum size can be max friends, just like we're doing everything else in this method. And then, so let's start at the top. First, for int index equals 0. Index is less than first free index, index plus plus. So we'll loop through all the indexes, and we'll accumulate this list of names. Index equals array friends index comma 0 plus space plus array friends index comma 1. So that takes the first name space last name and puts that into this list of names. And when we're done with that, we just return those names. All right. All right. Now, so that takes care of interfacing to the array. Let's now create our two methods. One which will load the array up from the file, from the text file or the CSV file, and the other one will store the array out into the text file or into the CSV file. So so I'm going to create a new method here. I mean a new class, and it's going to be another static class, and I'm going to call it file text.cs. And this is going to be a public static class called file text. And let's see, did I remember to bring that? And it looks like this. There's going to be a load array. So I'm going to call that. That's going to be public static void load array. And it's going to be a method. It's going to take in a string. It's going to take in a file name because it's got a load array. It's going to load the array from a file. And in here, I do the stream writer, input file, output file business. So let's just stream. This is stream reader. Stream reader. Input file equals file open text file name. And we're having a problem here with this, so let's right click it and do actions system IO there. This should be file open. File open text. File open text. Okay, that opens it up, and then I'm gonna read it into input file dot read line. That reads the name of the file in, reads it into the new name, and then while not input input file, hold on a second, this is not right. While input file end of stream, while we're not at the end of stream, we're going to take, I don't need this here. This should not be here. This should be here. Read it in and then split it. String names. Oops. String names equals new name split, and it's just a space because this is the text file. Just doing it by split by the space, and I say then I'm going to say new name is now equal to. Oh, wait a second. I don't need to do any of this, do I? No. I don't need to do any of this. I just need to storage add friend. New name. That's all I have to do, isn't it? And then input file, close. Okay, that reads them in, and then we're gonna want to write it out. Public static string, I guess. I'm just gonna do right away. Write array string file name, and I'm gonna have it input the array of names for me, because this is how I access the array with load array. I want to leave my array private in here. I want to leave this private. So so I'm going to pass the array, pass a reference to the array. And I'm going to call it array names just to exemplify that it's different here. So this is a public static string, a public static void. Yes. I guess I'm going to put this in a try catch. Stream writer output file. Output file equals file create text file name for int index equals 0. Index is less than storage array size. Remember, that is the property of storage. It's a storage of the array size. While this is happening, I'm writing this out to output file write line, and I can just do it here. Array names, comma index, comma 0. Oops. Index, comma 0. Plus, and this is the text file, so it's space plus array names index, comma 1. So this writes out this writes the array, the line of the array out, and then I guess we're done after that. Close. And catch. I guess we should. Maybe we should return x string. Let's make this a string, and we can return nothing. All right, so this is my write array. So this is going to write the array out, and I pass the array here. So the way we use this is right here in our we're going to have let's see, this is in file storage. We're going to have a public static void. We're going to have another load array up here, which is string file name. And what that's going to do is that is simply going to call file text dot load array file name. And we're going to have another public static void, and maybe I'll name this maybe I'll do capital load array just to emphasize the difference. So this is going to be write array capital string file name, and this is going to just call my file text write array with the file name. Okay, so I'm going to call, what's the matter? Write array string. Oh, I know. Return. File text write array. Public static write array. Oh. I got to pass. Array names. Array friends. Yeah. I have to pass the array. Now what's the matter with return? Write array returns a void. I don't think that's right. Storage.cs line 30. Too many? 37, same thing, I guess. Too many. And 105, storage write array returns all right, well, let's make it out. For now, I'll just do this. Still. Oh! All right, string, okay, string. Returns a string, that's fine. Okay, so that takes care of that. Okay, so this is load array using, okay, so now let's go back to here and let's try to replace stuff. Here we're adding, we don't need any of this. Storage, add friend. Okay, so that's going to add it to the thing. Populate list friends. Where's that? Oh, okay. Populate list friends. Is it for string return list equals storage get friends. And then this is, so it's return list, and so this this is going to be storage array size, and this is going to be list index. So that'll add it up, add it in. Let's see, I don't need this anymore. And or using the that method now. Oh, what am I? What's the matter? Oh, storage right array. Is there something wrong with this? Uh, oh, okay. Okay, file name. This is load array. I don't think I need this anymore. Where's load array? Okay, yeah, right. That's not even used, I don't think. Populate list friends. Okay, I just fixed that. Unfriend. This is delete. Storage delete friend. Name to delete. And I don't think I need any more of this. Okay, this is load file. So I say I'm gonna skip that part. I'll just say storage load array. Okay. Save file, write array. File name. And okay, I don't need this anymore. So button save file, load file, unfriend. I don't have any more errors, do I? All right, I don't know if this is gonna work. Let's try it. Okay, load file, let's find this one. Did not work. Okay, so right, okay, so you click on the load file, and then this calls that, which calls load array. And load array is this, which calls this. And this is going to call this, which opens that up. I selected it, that worked. And then this loops. Add friend. It's here. I'm going to do this. Console right line new name. So let me see what this does. I didn't, oh, where's the output? Okay, okay, so this, the names here, so it gets to this point, and array in array friends. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Instead of having it right line there, I'm gonna have it right line here. That's there, showed up there. So I'm going to have it add friend. I'm going to have it print out array size also. Okay, let's see, it must be filling the array. It must not be, it's filling the array all right. So it must not be, I know. When I'm done, loading the array, I need to populate list friends. I'm not doing that. Okay, so now it loaded the array. Can I add somebody? Okay, can I add somebody? Can I delete somebody? Oh no, this didn't. Oh, this didn't brighten up. It should. I can unfriend the person. Okay, save the file. Oh, I want to add somebody. Well, all right. All right. So so that seems to work, the text file. Now, okay, so I only have 3 minutes left. Let me show you how to change it over to a CSV file by just changing this, adding a new class. So I'm going to add a new class, add class, and I'm going to call this one file.csv.cs. So I got a new class here, and it's going to be a public static class this, and it's going to look a lot like this. Going to look a lot like this. Except for when I read it in, oh, I got to do this thing, put that up there. I'm reading it in, and I have to split it. String names equals new name dot split by a comma, because it's comma separated, and then I'm going to add friend is going to be names plus names 1. Okay, so this concatenates them together again using a space, and then this uses the add friend function. Now, one other thing we need to take care of here, we're loading the array. Remember, with a .csv file, the first line of the file is the column titles. So let's just throw in another bogus read name up here just to get rid of that first row. Okay, so that takes care of this. Now, why is that? Oh, I can't. Don't declare it twice. Okay, and so that's for loading the array. For storing the array, first I need to write output file, write line. I need to write first name, comma last name. That's the column titles, and then I need to write the when I do the right line, I want to separate it not with a space but with a comma. Okay, so that's all I have to do to make the .csv file. So let me go back over here, and let's take. I'm gonna make a copy. Let's see. Oh, I have this right here. This is my friends for. I'm gonna do save as friends for .csv. And I'm gonna have to put first name, comma last name, and then I got to put commas in here to separate this. I'm converting this into a comma separated, and now I save this, and so now I've got this friends4.csv file. Let me go back over here. The only place where I call either this, where I use this, either this class or this class, is down here in my storage, down at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to file CSV, and change this to file CSV, and now I can run it and load file, and I'm going to do the friends4.csv, and it loads it up, and there they are, and now I can Charlie Brown, Tom Petty, and I have to fix this, but I wanted to add a couple, and then I'm going to delete one, and then I save it, and save it back out again, and let's take a look at this, and we see that now Tom Petty's there, and I guess Charlie Brown, and the other one is gone. All right, so that was kind of quick, but I finished, and I showed you how to use we have a total of 3 extra classes. We have a storage class, and the storage class just manages the array. And then the storage class uses these file classes, either file CSV or file.txt, as I showed you. They're identical except for one assumes the text file is just a plain text file, first name, last name, separated by a space. The file CSV assumes it's a comma separated values file. So I hope this was helpful. And are there any questions? All right, so turn this in, and you can, if you have any questions, you can email me, and hope to see you all in 148. Thanks for watching.